Hello everyone, I am Parikshit and welcome to another exciting session on Unacademy CAT-alyst. In today's session, we are going to talk about the on-screen calculator, when to use it and how to use it. Probably and most surprisingly, some of you probably will not be aware of the functionalities which are there. All the functionalities functionalities like MC, MS, MR, M plus, M minus that you see on your on-screen calculator. And trust me, if you know how to use these functionalities, your calculation speed can become really fast. So in today's session, we are going to talk about all about the calculator and also when to use the calculator. But as always, the first thing that I'm going to tell you is give me 10 seconds to ensure that I'm streaming live before I get started with today's session. Okay, I think we are streaming live and we are good to start. Let's get started. Okay, so when to use the on-screen calculator is probably a dilemma many of you often face. Do I do the calculations mentally, orally, quickly myself, or should I use the calculator? And even if you decide to use the calculator, do you know all these functionalities? The most important ones, which a lot of you would not be knowing, is MC, MR, MS, M plus, and M minus. You should definitely try out these functionalities before your CAT. And today I'm going to talk about these functionalities, how to use them, right? But before that, let's talk about some other basic things, right? When to use it. Okay, the when part of it, and then I will come to how to use it. First, the when part of it. Okay, when to use the calculator. First is you must know how to use the on-screen calculator. This is very essential. A lot of mistakes students often make is, let's take an example. Let's say you need to find out the value of, let's say, 8 root 2. 8 root 2. Okay, how do you find out this particular value in your online calculator? You first need to press, will you first press a root 2 root and then 2, or will you first press 2 and then root? Now what I will do here is I will go to your CAT mock exam screen, right? This is your IIM website. I have entered the CAT mock exams, CAT 2020 mock exams, and you see I will bring up the calculator right on your screen so that you are aware of how to use this calculator, right? So you know what? Our target is to find out the value of root 2. Now let's first see. If you first type root and let's say then you type 2, okay? So what will you get? If you do an equal to, you still get 2. So that's incorrect. That's incorrect. So you know how to find out the value of root, square root of any number in your calculator. You first need to click on square 2 and then you click on the square root sign. This gives you the correct answer. And now let's say you need to find out the value of 8 into this, into 8. Into 8, you get your answer. I hope this is a very common mistake people often make. And remember, this is 8 root 2. But here, let's say it's a very big sum. A sum which has got, let's say, 10 numbers. And suddenly, one of the numbers is square root. Now, you would not even realize that you have not pressed the correct buttons. Again, I'm telling you, if you need to find out the value of square root of 20, square root of 20, if you first press the square root sign and then press 20, you are gonna get a wrong answer. Nothing will happen. You will not be realizing this. But you know what? How do you do this? You first press 20 and then press the square root sign will get you the correct answer. So a very common mistake students often make when there are a lot of numbers on your screen to calculate. The second common mistake that students often make is ignoring the BODMAS sign. Ignoring the BODMAS sign. What do I mean by that? Let's take an example. Let's say you need to calculate the value of 4 divided by, okay, 2 plus 5. 2 plus 5. Now, you know what? In your mobile or in your calculator, this is a very easy calculation, okay? You will not use your calculator. I know that. But here, the purpose is not to give you a difficult number. The purpose is to make you realize your mistake. So 4 divided by 2 plus 5, right? So your answer should come out to be 4 by 7, right? 4 by 7 is where your answer should come out to be. Now let's go back to our screen. Let's go back to our screen. Okay, I'll do a clear 4. Now if you do 4 divided by 2, okay, and then you divide by, let's say, 5, what will happen? What will happen? You are getting 0.4. You are getting 0.4. Is it correct? It is incorrect. It is incorrect. Why? What has actually happened? What has actually happened on your screen? What has actually happened is you first pressed 4 and then you press divided by 2. You press divided by 2. So what did the calculator do? The calculator actually took this as 2, and then when you divided by 5, the calculator divided 2 by 5 and got your answer as 0.4. So this is incorrect. You cannot do it this way. Remember, here what you need to do is 4 divided by 7. So you follow the bottommost rule. 4 divided by 7 will fetch you the correct answer. Okay. Now I think you get the point. Now I think you get some of the basic mistakes that students often make, right? Some of the basic mistakes. So first is you cannot be making this mistakes. That's point number 1. Now point number 2 is identify the questions which actually require the use of a calculator in CAT 2020. Now, it's many a times you need to understand if you use the calculator, will it actually save time or will it actually gonna increase your time? Remember, there is a number, let's say 12 plus 55 plus 77 plus 88. Okay, what will happen? What will happen is if you are gonna press the calculator, remember how many digits are you gonna press? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are gonna press 8 digits. 8 digits, and you know what? In between, there are 3 plus signs. There are 3 plus signs. A total of 11 times you are gonna press your calculator. 11 times. 11 times will at least take 10 seconds to press. 11 times you need to press, right? On the contrary, how do you take up such questions? How do you take up such questions? Do the maths orally. You know what? How can you calculate? You calculate, round it off to the nearest, probably 10, multiple of 10. You can say 10 plus 50, 60, 60 plus 70 is 130, 130 plus 80 is 210, 210 plus the unit digits. 2 plus 5, 7, 7 plus 7, 14, 14 plus 8, 22. So 210 plus 22 will get you 232. So do not be pressing the calculator unnecessarily. Trust me, in a 40 minutes exam, this is very, very important because it will kill your time. And even if you are able to solve 2 questions more, you never know. You might end up from a 90 percentile to a 99 percentile, right? So very, very, very important that whether your question actually requires the use of a calculator. That's point number 2. Now, okay, then there are other questions which are very complex. Okay, when I say complex, I mean they require a lot of calculations. Can I give you an example? Okay, let's give an example. Let's say you need to find the average price of this mixture. Okay, average price of this mixture. Let's give an example, very simple example, but it will help you to illustrate the point. Let's take an example. Let's say price is 15, quantity is 11.12, price is 13, quantity is, let's say, 17.14 kilograms, quantity is in kgs. Okay, and let's say 18 divided by, let's say, quantity is 19.25 kgs. Now imagine, if you were to do your maths orally here, this will gonna take a lot of time. On the contrary, what you can do, you can make use of your on-screen calculator, and especially the functions. You know what? Which functions are we talking about here? Especially the functions MC, MR, MS, M plus, and M minus. You need to use these functionalities. Now, what does each functionality means? MS means memory safe. Memory safe. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to illustrate. Don't worry. What is MR? MR is memory recall. Memory recall. Next, MC. MC means memory clear. Clear. Okay. M plus. M plus is, M plus, you know, it is what? Is MS plus something. MS plus something. I'm going to illustrate. Don't worry. M minus is what? MS minus of something. Let's try to look at our screen. Let's try to look at our screen to understand this functionalities. Okay, let's say you get a very big number. Okay, you are doing a very big calculation. Let's say 98. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say 98 plus 17 plus some number I've added. Let's say 35. Okay, let's say this number is, you have got it to be 150. Let's add another number to make it complex. Let's say 96. Let's say 96 to 156. What you have got is 156. Remember, you have got 156. I added a few numbers. I got 156. And now I need to use this 156 somewhere later in my calculations. Somewhere later in my calculations. So what are you going to do? You are going to save this. You are going to save this 156. So what will you say? Memory save. MS. You just press MS. Okay. So what has happened? It has now taken 156 in the memory and saved it. Now let's say you have some other maths. 789 minus, let's say 63 minus, let's say 23. I did this maths. I got some number and I did the maths. Okay, 723. Some number I got. Now let's say you need to add it back. You need to add it back to the previous number that you have already saved. The number that you have already saved. You know what? You need to use that number again. So what are you going to do? Plus. Instead of writing the calculation, the intermediate step once again, you have saved the number in a memory. The previous number, what will you do? You will say memory recall. Memory recall. Click MR and immediately you get the answer. Immediately you get the answer. I hope you understand the point. So what is MS and MR? MS is, what will you do? You'll actually save it. You will actually save a number. Okay. And MR, let's say you are going to use that number once again later in your calculations. So what will you do? You will just going to say MS save, and some point later you do MR. So it will recall that number and then you can use that number again in your calculations. What is MC? What is MC? MC is memory clear. Memory clear. So if I click on MC, what will happen? Your memory is clear. Nothing is saved in the memory of the calculator. Now let's say if you have decided to move from question 2 to question 3, you do not want your calculator to save any prior data, right? So you can just make sure that you click on MC. Your memory is clear. Okay, now next part is let's say I have saved a number. Let's say 98 is the number that I have saved in my memory. Now what happens, you know, probably somewhere else you need to, the question is asking you m plus 5 when divided by something. M plus 5, the number when added to 5 and then divided. Okay. So you know 98, you have done a lot of maths. Before. 63 plus 28. Let's say you have done some maths. Okay. 63 plus 28. And now you remember, okay, there was some number which I have saved in the memory. That number I want to add 5 to that number. So what will you do? You will say m plus. So what the calculator will do? The calculator will bring back the number m. Okay. And then it will, and let's say you want to add 5 to it. Just add 5 to it. So you'll say m plus. Okay. And 5. Whatever is the number will get you the answer. Whatever is that number, it will get you that answer. I hope you are getting the point. So please make sure that you practice it. M plus, as the number indicates, as I'm going to show you again, what does it indicate? It says that, okay, there is some number which is saved in my memory. Okay. So what you are going to do? You are going to, let's say, perform some mathematical operations on it. So you can do a plus on it. Let's say plus 5. So you don't have to type that number again. Similarly, likewise, M minus. What is M minus? M minus indicates that if there is some number which is saved in your memory, okay, some number which is saved in your memory, and you need to use that number for further calculations, you are just going to subtract that. You are going to, let's say, subtract 10. So M minus will do a subtraction to that number. I hope you get this. Okay. Okay. The next point is, so MC, MR, MS, M plus, M minus. Please make sure that you make effective use of these functionalities because they are very, very helpful, especially in cases like this. Because if you do 15 into 11.12, how will you do this maths? You will say 15 into 11.12. You need to find out, let's say, the average price. Average price. 13 into 7.14 plus 18 into 9.25 manually is going to be like this, right? 19.25 divided by the quantity. 11.12 plus 17.14 plus 19.25. Obviously, when you are doing this maths, you don't want to, let's say you have done this calculation, you don't want to write down this calculation in your notebook and again come back and type the same number back in your calculator. So don't do that. You first calculate this, save it as memory save, do a MS, save it in your memory. Next, calculate this. Next, calculate this. Okay, calculate this, and once you calculate this, click plus, you will say MS, plus MS. What will happen? It will add back the previously saved number. Now you have got a new result, save it again as MS. Now you have got a new result, save it again as MS. So what do you have saved now? You have saved this total output. This total output you have saved. Now you do the third part of it. Now you do the third part of it, and then you will say again plus MS. So you'll be able to do it fast. You'll be able to do it fast. Trust me, even if you save 4 minutes or 5 minutes in your calculations, you are going to attempt at least 2 questions more in your CAT. And 2 questions more means probably you get them correct, you might end up with a 90%. From a 90 percentile, you might end up with a 99 percentile. The next points that I'm going to talk about. I hope you have understood the meaning of MS, MR, M plus, MMS, M minus and MC. Okay. The remaining functionalities, all of you know. This is percentage, this is reciprocal, square root. I already told you why you make a mistake. This is the clear function, right? If you click this, your screen gets clear. The calculator screen gets clear. Next is, you definitely cannot be using these functionalities for the first time in your CAT. Trust me, don't do that. You only use these functionalities if you are gonna use them and practice them in your mocks beforehand. If you are gonna use your mocks beforehand, only then you are gonna use these functionalities. Otherwise, there is no point. Trust me, you cannot be playing the final straight away without playing any practice match. Next, don't hesitate to utilize the calculator whenever required. It's not your mobile. I understand it's not the scientific calculator. This calculator was introduced since 2015 and IIMs have found it that actually students are using it. Hence, they have retained this functionality. And if students are using it, it means you also should use it whenever you feel that it is going to save your time. So definitely do not hesitate to utilize the calculator as and when required, and be confident of the BODMAS rule. Please be very, very, very careful of the BODMAS rule. I hope you all are aware of the BODMAS rule. Brackets of divisions, multiplications, additions and subtractions. Next, verifying answers and ensuring accuracy. Now, at times, there are other times when you actually feel that whatever you have calculated, you are not sure. You are not sure if your calculation is right. Doesn't matter. You are under a lot of pressure. What do? Use your calculator again to determine whether the answer that you manually calculated is same as the one you did by the calculator, as the one you did with the help of your calculator. If both the answers are same, then you know what? Obviously, you can verify the same. So do not be verifying every answer because that itself will be consuming a lot of time. And the next is no short tricks. You should be knowing Vedic mathematics trick, Vedic maths tricks. There are a lot of speed maths calculations, Probably an example could be just an example. Let's say 93 into 94. 93 into 94. Do not just multiply these numbers. If you know a bit of Vedic maths, it's just a two-step process. What will you say? The two-step process is, first take the difference from 100, minus 7, and here the difference from 100 is minus 6. After that, it is very easy. Just cross. When you cross, how much will it be? 93 minus 6. How much is it? 87. And minus 7 into minus 6. How much is it? 42. So your answer is 8742. 8742. These are wonderful Vedic mathematics techniques which you can use to get your answer really, really fast. I'm going to repeat it again. What did I do? I took the difference from 100. 93, the difference from 100 is minus 7. 94, the difference from 100 is minus 6. Alright? So what will happen? That's the first step. Difference from 100. Step 2, cross. So once you cross it, 93 minus 6, or you do 94 minus 7, doesn't matter. It means the same. 93 minus 6 is how much? 87. And minus 6 into minus 7 is how much? This numbers you multiply, 42. So like this, you can do every calculation, every multiplication. Now, do you know this Vedic mathematics techniques? Is another question. Okay, I think that's it. I think some of you have asked me questions probably, but these are not related to the current topic. TIS questions I will talk about when I take a TIS session, right? Not in the session when I'm talking about a calculator. Yeah, Divyansh, definitely we can talk about it when I take a TIS session. Okay, so I think this were useful. The techniques that I talked about today were useful. And if you have liked the video, do please hit the like button. And please make sure that you practice them in the mocks, and only then you will be comfortable and confident about using it in the CAT. Okay, so till tomorrow morning 10:30 a.m. till the next time I see you again, it's a goodbye. Stay safe, keep practicing, and I'm sure you all will do well. Thank you and have a good day. Goodbye.